here on Intermediate 2, we have a series or a lot of different topics we need to check on this level. So today I'm starting with one of them, guys, because they may be different from last level. I will have to use all of the days, all of the classes, so I can cover everything that you need for this level. So as I gave you the activity yesterday about some questions that you could answer for today, my friends, probably many of you discovered that today the topic that we are going to be checking is about the modal verbs. So this is going to be the topic, but in a specific with Intermediate 2 levels, we are going to check these modal verbs with a different objective, okay, in a different form in which you check the modal verbs in basic 2, 3, and 4. So let's pay attention in here, guys. And well, let me begin right now with the class. Remember, for whatever questions you have, please let me know, okay, my friends? Okay. So, my friends, we are getting started with the class. And well, for me to begin with today's class, I would like to maybe begin with the questions I told you to check yesterday. And well, we are working with modal verbs, yes, my friends? But well, I would like maybe first to ask to the ones who wanted to participate for today. The question in here is, what are the modal verbs, my friends? Danny, would you like to say something, my friend?
Sure. The modal verbs show possibility, intent, ability, or necessary.
Okay, so modal verbs are verbs that show possibilities, abilities, and what more?
Intent, necessity.
Okay, necessity.
Intent, ability, or necessity.
Okay, ability or necessity. Okay, well, that could be the function of some of those modal verbs, right? Okay, Danny, thank you. Do you remember anything else about the modals? Willie, what do you remember?
Can, show, that's all.
Okay.
Can, show, and must.
Can, should, and must are the ones you remember?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, well, maybe we remember these ones. Can, should, and must. Okay, Willie, sorry, but what were you going to say, my friend?
Also, they are auxiliary verbs that provide additional and specific meaning to the main verb or the sentences.
Excellent explanation, Willie. Okay, so yes, that is exactly the thing, guys. These modal verbs are verbs similar to the auxiliary verbs, with the difference that in this case, different from the auxiliary verbs, these modal verbs tend to change the meaning of the sentence. Excellent participation, William. Okay. So in a definition that is as simple as we can, my friend, this is what the modal verbs are, okay? And well, as Daniela also helped us well, they have or they give special meanings to the sentence. Maybe to speak of possibilities, abilities, necessity, and many other things that we can say, right? For example, guys, do you remember other functions of the modal verbs? A part of possibilities, abilities, and necessity?
Permissions?
Also, right, we can use it for permission, right, of course. So modal verbs are also possible for me to speak about permission. Is there any other situation in which I can use modal verbs, my friends?
It's for request.
Obligation?
Also right, for request, very good. We also use them to make petitions, to make requests. Yes, of course, that could be another function.
Persuasions.
To speak about maybe persuasion, well, okay. Not very common to hear that word, but yes, maybe a persuasion in the sense maybe of trying to be suggestive to someone. Why not? Okay. Anything else that you remember, my friends?
Advise.
Also, right, we can also use the modal verbs to speak or to give advice or recommendations to other people. Yes, of course. Okay, my friends, is that everything or you remember something else?
Is for suggestion and obligation.
Okay, so a part of all of this, yes, maybe advice, similar to advice. Well, we can, yes, of course, use the word suggestion. And also, as you just mentioned, they can also be for obligations, right? Okay, okay. Am I missing anything else?
Requests.
Request, we already have request in here, my friend. Okay, okay. Probably yes. Well, for me not to make the class so extensive, my friends, as you can observe, well, here with these ideas that you were giving, guys, we can discover that, well, they modify the meaning into the sentence, maybe to represent the following things that we have here on the list, right? And well, we have many different modal verbs we can use to express all of these different things. But well, guys, for me to try to go as quick because the class will have a different focus, I would like you to remind me. Daniela, a moment ago, told me about the modal verbs can, should, and must. What other modal verbs do you remember apart of these ones?
May.
May, okay.
Can.
Very well, Omar. What other?
Can.
Okay, can, we already have it.
Might.
Okay, maybe might, possibly will. Uh-huh.
Could.
Could, okay, another.
Shall.
Which one?
To.
Two.
Shall.
Should.
Should is the second on the list. We already have it.
Would.
Come.
Would, okay.
Shall. Shall.
Maybe shall, it's a little bit a dick, but well, maybe yes, it's still a modal verb. I'm thinking, do you remember about this one? Yes, my friends, have to?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay, my friends. Am I missing any other modal verb for the moment? That is not on the list?
Need.
Which one?
Need.
Might, you mean? Or no, that's all the modal verbs that we know or we remember, my friends.
Be able to.
Which other?
Be able to.
Okay, so be able to, why not? Okay. And maybe we have a couple of others. No, I think that's it. Okay, maybe there are some more complicated that maybe you haven't checked yet, but in the transcourse of future courses, you will be checking them. Okay, guys, so well, we have different functions, different modal verbs. Obviously, these modal verbs have specific functions, but well, I would like to check the general things with the modal verbs. Out of all of these modal verbs, can, should, must, may, might, will, etc., what do we need to remember, guys? Remember that all of these modals are always used in combination with a verb or another verb. But what do you remember? What happens to that verb? Do I have to use it in past, in ing, or what?
In infinitive form.
In passive?
Infinitive form.
Okay. And what is the infinitive form?
The first form.
Okay, practically the base, the simple form, right? Okay, that's practically the infinitive verb. So what do we have? Practically the modal verbs are simple, guys, okay? Because for all the modal verbs, the grammar structure tends to be similar. Can, should, must, etc. in combination with another verb, okay? But one more time, this is not the point of today's topic. Now, guys, maybe the final question I would like to ask. Out of all of these modal verbs that you mentioned, people, which are the modal verbs that refer to possibilities, my friends?
Can.
Okay, so one of these modals is the modal can.
Could.
Is there any other?
Could.
Could, yes, of course.
Made.
May.
May.
Might.
Might.
Okay. And well, from the list, is there any other or that's it?
That's it.
That's it, right? Okay, okay. Excellent participations, everyone. So, what's the situation, guys? This is going to be the focus of this level. Practically, you check modal verbs can and could in basic 2, I think. And well, there is no big science to check in those levels. But now, guys, the central part or the central topic are going to be this one. Why? Because now we need to check how to use these modal verbs. Let me put it. Now we are going to check, children, how to use these modals can, could, may, might, and there will be some others in here, but to speak about possibilities different from the normal verbs, not possibilities in the present or possibilities in the future, but to speak of possibilities in the past, okay? And well, what happens in here? When we want to use the modal verbs to speak about the past, my friends, we are going to use a total different grammar to the one that we use with the normal modal verbs. And what's going to happen, guys? This is going to be the central topic for today. So the normal modal verbs are this: my modal verb and verb in simple form, okay? This is true when I speak of present situations or even future situations. When I want to speak of past situations, the problem is that this is not going to be the structure anymore, okay? Let's check how we are going to use the modal verbs for past situations. Any problems or any questions for the moment?
No, teacher. Teacher.
Okay, my friends. Don't worry, because in the end, there are not a lot of modal verbs to speak about the past, but we are going to use or check the modal verbs in order to speak of past possibilities, to create deductions of what we think, what we imagine was possible in the past, okay? This is going to be the topic we are going to check right now. And well, my friends, in a short way, we tend to call them modal verbs to speak of past deductions, okay? But in a short name, practically this is what it's more popular or it's more common to go by the name of perfect modals. What's going to happen in here, guys? With the perfect modals, this is the use of the modal verbs practically, my friends, for the next to speculate or say what we think was possible to happen in the past, okay? And well, practically this is the function of the perfect modals. Just for me to create speculations, just for me to express of something I consider possible to happen in the past, but in the end, it's only like trying to guess on possibilities, okay, my friends? And well, attention in here because the grammar that we are going to use is different. We checked some minutes ago, guys, that for us to normally use a modal verb for the present or the future, well, we tend to have the combination of the modal and the verb in base form, okay? And this, as I just mentioned, maybe with this, we are going to use it to speak about present or future situations, okay? But now, what happens with these new modals, the ones that we will call the perfect modals? In the case of the perfect modals, guys, different from the normal modal verbs, we are going to do the following. We are going to use the modal yes, but this time we are not using the verb in simple form. This time we are practically using a modal verb in combination with an auxiliary verb. In this case, the auxiliary verb is the auxiliary have. And this time, my friends, the verb will go in past participle. And with this transformation, my friends, we are saying that we are referring to something that happened not in the present, not in the future, but in the past, okay? Let's have a quick look now into the practice. Any questions in here for the moment?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Let's start then with the modal verbs, guys. No, I think I need to erase them and start over. Okay, let me start again with this. In this case, my friends, all of the modals that you are going to check have exactly the same grammar structure, okay? But no, it's not possible to use all the modal verbs with this structure. Only the modal verbs that refer to possibilities, okay? And well, considering that this is about past possibilities, guys, I would like to start maybe first with these three modals. I would like to start the class with this, with could, with may, and with might. Now, these modal verbs are going to be with this structure. Could plus have plus verb in the past participle, may, have, and past participle, might have, and past participle. And well, kids, why did I choose these three in specific? The situation in here, guys, is that these three modal verbs are very similar for past possibilities. Practically, when I want to speculate or to speak about possibilities in the past, I can use the modal verb could, may, or might with no real difference in meaning, okay? They are going to be very similar with one another. Let's have a look. In the case of these modal verbs, everyone, let me put it in here. We will check that we are going to use these modal verbs to speak or to say something that we think that was possible to happen in the past. But, well, what happens in here, guys? The situation is that in the case of this function, we will use exactly the same for all these three modal verbs to say something that we think that was possible to happen in the past. Remember that with the speculation is that trying to say or to express ideas that we think that happened, but we don't have any guarantee, we don't really have any evidence that this really happens. It's only a personal opinion, okay? So with this in mind, guys, I would like samples and the analysis. Are there any questions for the moment?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Okay. Let's imagine that we have the following example, people. Maybe I will create one sentence with David. Okay. Imagine the next situation, everyone. And I tell you, David can't find his keys in the house. Okay, attention. This is a normal sentence, not related for the moment to a perfect modal. But what do we have? We have this real situation in which David cannot find his keys in the house. What happened to the keys? We don't really know, but we can speculate. We can maybe express my idea or our ideas of what I think it's possible to happen to the keys. For example, maybe right now David can't find his keys in the house, but there is a possibility that in the past he could have left the keys in the office. What's happening in here, my friends? Okay, observe, because the second sentence that we have is the one in which we are using a perfect modal. As you can observe, well, we have the modal verb could, but now it's in combination with practically the present perfect, guys. That is the reason why we call them perfect modals. But what's the situation in here, guys? I am expressing that it's possible that he left the keys in the office, okay? One more time, it's only a possibility, but I am not sure if he really left the keys in the office. It's only a speculation, okay? It's clear in here with this example, my friends?
Yes, teacher. Yes, teacher.
Okay, kids. Practically, we can do exactly the same situation also with the modal may or might to speak of something we think was possible in the past. Let's say it's for the same, but let's create a different example so you can have more references to the topic. Let's create a new example. Now I'm going to choose a woman for this. Katia is my person for this sentence. Okay, Katia hasn't seen Or no, maybe hasn't been with her boyfriend recently. Okay. The facts. This is the reality. Well, obviously in my imaginary sentence, okay? In this sentence, Katia has not been with her boyfriend recently. This is true, okay? But what happened to Katia and the boyfriend? I don't really know, but I can speculate, maybe I can create some chisme of what I think that was possible to happen to Katia and her boyfriend. My speculation, my idea is that they may have broken up, and that's it. Okay, so maybe it's possible that in the past, Katia and her boyfriend broke up, and that is the reason why Katia hasn't been with her boyfriend. It's possible that in the past, Katia and her boyfriend broke up, okay? But one more time, remember, this is only a speculation. It's only what I think that it's possible to happen in the past. But in the end, my friends, one more time, I am not sure if this is what really happened. It's only my invention. Okay, my friends?
Yes, teacher.
Any question with this modal verb may or with the example or anything in general?
No, teacher.
Okay. And well, guys, we have the chance to do exactly the same with might. We speak of past possibilities. What's the thing in here, guys? It will be a similar thing. Maybe I will go now with Rodrigo. Let me think. I'm trying to think of an idea for this sentence. Okay. Sí, se me fue la onda, pero let me think. I'm trying to process. Okay, I'm thinking on the next. Rodrigo has bought a new mansion and a new Ferrari. Okay, we have this, my friends. So this is the reality, okay? Rodrigo has bought a new mansion and a new Ferrari. My goodness, I am impressed. What did Rodrigo do to buy a Ferrari and a mansion very quickly? I don't know, but I can speculate. Maybe I think it's possible that he might have won the lottery. That could be a possibility in the past. And well, for that reason, maybe sounds logical why Rodrigo bought a mansion and a new Ferrari. So what's the situation? Same as the others, guys. I am only expressing that I think, maybe I needed another color, but anyway, it was possible that Rodrigo won the lottery in the past, and for that, he bought a mansion and a Ferrari, okay? Any questions in this for the moment?
Yes, teacher. I have a question.
Yes.
The perfect modal use negative form or
Yes. Okay.
only positive form?
Very commonly are in affirmative, but no, we also have the possibility to use negatives. Check this, George, okay? For example, yes, it's also possible for me to create negatives, but for negative sentences, what do we do? Okay. I don't know, tengo espacio en el de may, pero aplica para todo. Okay, I'm going to create an example with may in negative, but it's the same with the others, okay? Okay, for example, another sentence. Let's imagine Jair got a 50 on his midterm exam. Okay, this is the situation. Jair got a 50 on his midterm exam. Okay, I don't know what happened with Jair. Okay, maybe he was in the party, maybe he became an alcoholic, I don't know. I am trying to speculate the reason. I think that it's possible that he may not have studied for the exam. And for that reason, he got a 50. But as you can observe in here, Georgie, yes, it's possible for me to make the sentences in negative. Obviously, in this case, for negative sentences, the only part that I transform in negative is only the modal verb. The auxiliary have continues normal, okay? It's the same with the others. Yes, Georgie?
Yes, teacher. Other question. The structure, the sentence, the first past perfect.
Present perfect.
Present perfect.
Practically.
And
Okay.
second modal, perfect modal. ¿Las podría cambiar?
¿Cambiar cómo?
O sea, la oración, que empiece primero con perfect modal y luego sería el presente perfecto.
O sea,
solamente
el
va así.
orden de los dos enunciados, que empiezas
Ajá.
con este y acabas con el otro.
Sí, o solamente se puede.
No, yes, you can do it, okay? It's possible, yes.
Okay.
In the end, it depends on what information you want to communicate first, but in the end, there is no problem if it's first or second. Tengan en cuenta, chicos, estos yo los puse primero o empecé con estos para darles un poco de contexto y pudieran entender el siguiente enunciado. Pero solo fue darles contexto, no es que necesariamente yo necesite algo antes o después. Eso ya depende de lo que ustedes necesiten expresar, pero un orden en específico no lo hay, ¿ok?
Okay, teacher.
Okay, my friends. Now, other questions that you have?
Teacher, in first, second, and third person, we have the auxiliary have only.
Okay, excellent observation. Okay, what's the situation one more time, guys? As you remember on intermediate one, when we were checking the present perfect, I told you that the auxiliary in present perfect for subjects, he, she, it, is auxiliary has, and for I, we, you, they, auxiliary have. Yes, okay, that's true. But now in the perfect modals, guys, forget about the auxiliary has. It doesn't matter the person. For subjects, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, with all the subjects, even if we have a he, my friends, yes, the correct auxiliary in a perfect modal needs to be with have, okay? A common mistake is that sometimes people do the next. He could has left them in the office. Okay, tal vez la puedo poner aquí. Okay, kids, so try not to do that, my friends. Why? Makes sense, it sounds logical that with he, she, it, in present perfect we use auxiliary has, but in perfect modals, guys, the present perfect doesn't work like that, okay? So try not to use has as an auxiliary with these modal verbs, okay? The one that you always use for all the subjects is auxiliary have, okay, guys?
Okay, teacher, thanks.
So remember,
Okay,
the
teacher.
green one is the correct, the pink one, big touch, okay?
Thanks, teacher.
I'll take it as a yes, okay. Well, my friends, Now, remember, in the end, you can use could, may, or might to speak about possibilities. And the reality, guys, is that for native or, well, yes, native English speakers, they don't really make a difference between could, may, or might to speak of past speculations. They can use one or the other, and for them, there is no real difference. For example, maybe I can say, David can't find, David can't find his keys in the office. He could have left them in the house. He could have left them in the office. I can also say, guys, he could have left them. He might have left them. He may have left them. And there is no problem, okay, my friends? In the end, for native speakers, they don't really make a real difference with could, with may, and with might, okay? So you can use one or the other with no real difference in meaning. The only point is that we need to keep this structure present because all of this structure is necessary to speak of possibilities in the past, okay, my friends? So any problems that you have with this?
Yes,
No.
teacher. Which is the most common modal verbs? Could, may, or might?
Depends. Normally, in this case, the most common to be used in real life English, guys, tend to be maybe the modal could. In the case of the modal may, not very much. And in the case of the perfect modal might, is the most common, okay? Practically speaking, might is the most common, then could and may in very strange situations, but it's possible, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Okay. Any problems or any other questions?
Teacher, the pronunciation of the first modal
Okay,
is
let's check. Yes, it's something very important. How to pronounce these perfect modals. Let's have a look to that, guys. But unfortunately, I'm running out of time in this conference, so it's going to be necessary for me to send you another link so we can finish with this and check the pronunciation, okay?
okay, teacher.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, guys, see you in a minute.
See you, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, guys, so let's go. We continue now with the part of the perfect modals, or modals for past deductions is the other name. But well, I prefer to call them perfect modals because it's shorter. And well, guys, what's the situation? A moment ago, you asked me, okay, how to pronounce correctly these modal verbs. Attention in here. For the moment, we check could, and this one. We check this one, and we check this one, okay? Attention in here, guys. Even if I have the word separated, remember that first of all, before we check the pronunciation, remember we have the possibility to make a contraction. How do we do this? Contract the modal verb with the auxiliary verb have. So as a result, guys, we can have the following. We can have this. We can have this. And we can have this. I know este no lo contraje. Okay, so we have this. Now, attention, guys, because in the end, guys, even if it's in a separate way or in a contracted way, the pronunciation is always the same. And what is that pronunciation, children? Keep in mind that even if it's not contracted, the pronunciation of these perfect modals is always as if it really was in contraction, okay? So separated or with contraction, the correct pronunciation goes like this. In the case of the first one, the correct is could have, okay? What happens? If I tell you like a moment ago, I think it was this, right? Okay. Practically speaking, guys, whenever we speak or when we read a sentence like that, we don't say, he could have left them in the office. We don't really do that, okay? We tend to contract and speak faster. He could have left them in the office. Even faster, he could have left them in the office. Could have. Just like that, could have. He could have left. He could have left them. He could have left them in the office. So as you can see, even if it looks large, in pronunciation is something fast and short, okay? So never say, he could have left. No, could have. He could have left them in the office. He could have left them in the office, and it will be the same for the others, guys. In the case of may, we will have the next, may have. He may have left them in the office. We don't really say he may have left them in the office. So English speakers don't really do it like this, guys. So try not to do that in that case. So even if it's separated, I don't say may have, it's he may have. And well, you get the point. He may have left them in the office. And same situation in the case of might. Might have. So we have now, he could have left them in the office, he may have left them in the office, or he might have left them in the office. So could have, may have, might have. Okay, my friends? Simple as that, fast as that, okay? This is in the case of affirmative sentences. Now let's check the negative pronunciation. Any questions for the moment?
Yes.
Yes, questions?
Bueno, voy a hablar en español porque no creo poder formular mi pregunta.
Oh my goodness, chancla por Omar.
Es que está, bueno, es que, bueno, por ejemplo, en los primeros casos donde puso las contracciones, eso es en el caso en el que tuviéramos después del verbo modal el verbo have en infinitivo. O sea, se contrae en could, así como lo... Pero eso no aplicaría en la estructura del perfect modal, porque no se supone que tendríamos el have en forma de pasado participio. Después del
acuérdate que el have es solamente un auxiliar, ¿ok, Omar?
Ah, cierto.
Lo que tú tienes en pasado participio es el otro verbo, left, past participle of, leave.
Ah, ok, cierto, sí.
Si have solamente es auxiliar, entonces se queda en forma simple, porque solo es auxiliar. Pero si el verdadero verbo, que en este caso es leave, sí lo transformamos, ¿vale, amigo?
Ah, ok, teacher. Thanks.
Ok. Ahora, chicos, let's go and have a look to the negative parts. Remember that the negation is always in the part of the modal verb, except with the modal verb may. Ok. Esto es algo que también ya se deberían de saber, chicos. Acuérdense que el único modal verb que no puedo hacer contracción en negativo es con may, pero con could y con might sí se puede, ¿ok? La contracción obviamente solo es en la parte negativa. Entonces tengo couldn't y ahí sí separo el have. Ya no puedo hacer una triple contracción en una palabra. ¿Sí me explicó? Pero, ¿qué creen, chicos? En pronunciación, sí lo van a contraer en palabra triple. ¿Cómo es eso? Ay, espérenme. Practically speaking, guys, the pronunciation in negative sentences is practically making contraction of could, not, and have in one. So the correct is not couldn't have, is couldn't have. Okay? So triple contraction only in speaking. In grammar, separate the negative and the auxiliary, okay? So we have maybe the following examples. I mean, well, just for us to check pronunciation, I'm repeating practically the same sentence. He could not have left them in the office? No. He couldn't have left them in the office? Not really. He couldn't have left them in the office. That's the correct. He couldn't have left them. Couldn't have. Couldn't have. He couldn't have left them in the office, okay? The faster you can do it, the better, of course. Okay, my friends? He couldn't have left them. In the case of may, well, in the case of may, yes, we need maybe to separate this. So, may, in this case, it needs to be separated. May not have, well, in this case, we use the J for that. In that case, only with this one, we don't make a contraction in negatives. He may not have left them in the office. In that case, no contraction. But in the case of might, guys, ay, no me salió. Okay. In negative, we don't really say mightn't have. We say mightn't have. Okay. So, how is this in a sentence? Either I say he couldn't have left them in the office or he mightn't have left them in the office. Mightn't have left. It needs to be very quick, guys. Practically a triple contraction only in pronunciation, okay? Couldn't have, mightn't have. And verb in past participle. All clear in here?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. Easy or difficult, the part of the pronunciation?
Difficult.
Try to practice a
Difficult.
little bit tonight after the class, okay? Could have, may have, might have, couldn't have, may not have, mightn't have. Okay. Véanlo como un trabalenguas, chicos. Así vayan repitiendo y repitiendo hasta que se les pegue bonito, ¿vale? Okay, kids. Now, todavía no acabamos, chicos. I'm sorry to say that. I'm still missing 2 more modal verbs as perfect modals. But attention, because the last 2 that we need to check, guys, are practically similar, okay? Well, just a moment ago, make a division because this is only about pronunciation. Now we go back with the grammar with the other 2, okay? Any questions?
No, teacher.
Now, in the case of must as a perfect modal, guys, attention, because these 2 that we have in here function differently from could, may, and might. What's happening in here? In the case of must, my friends, we use it to say something that we are absolutely sure that happened in the past. What happens in here? Different from could, may, and might that are to say it's possible. In the case of must is when you say that you are completely sure that something happened in the past, okay? So in this case, we are practically eliminating possibility. We are practically speaking of certainty, certeza, okay, my friends? So practically, if you want to look at this as a possibility, is when I say that I am 100% of possibilities in a past situation, okay? For example, guys, if I tell you, Omar didn't come to class yesterday. Ok. ¿Qué pasa aquí? Omar no vino a la clase ayer. No sé qué esté pasando con Omar, pero ya lo conozco. Ay, Omar es una fichita ese niño. Entonces estoy seguro que esto fue lo que pasó. He must have drunk tequila with his friends. Also careful with the pronunciation, guys. We pronounce must have. He must have drunk tequila with his friends. ¿Qué pasa? Yo estoy convencido de que no vino a clase porque se fue a tomar con los amigotes y nadie me puede convencer de lo contrario. Puede que no, puede que en realidad Omar haya tenido un accidente o se le haya ido la luz, cualquier otra cosa, pero al menos aquí, mi opinión es que estoy seguro que se fue de parrandero con los amigos, ¿ok? Pero al final de cuentas, es solo especulación. Me siento seguro, pero es especulación, ¿ok, chicos? Traten de ver al must más o menos como el lema de Andrés Manuel López Obrador, chicos, cuando quieren decir que no tienen pruebas, pero no tienen dudas, ¿ok? Entonces, no tengo prueba de que se haya ido a beber, pero no tengo duda que lo haya hecho, ¿ok? Para eso va a ser el must, para decir lo que estoy seguro que pasó en el pasado, aunque no haya garantía que sea cierto, ¿ok?
Es el yo tengo otros datos.
Exactly. Maybe something like that, okay, my friends? So yes, any problems in here? Or no?
No, teacher, no.
Okay, now there is something special about the modal verb must. Creo que voy a tener que quitar esto. Ay, no, bueno. Espérenme. Wait for me, guys. Because I think I need to make it in here. Okay. Remember, guys, this is special because this perfect modal is only possible in affirmative sentences, okay? Different from could, may, and might that are in affirmative, negative, or questions. In the case of must have is exclusive for affirmative sentences. We never use it in negatives. We never use it in questions. It's exclusively for past affirmative deductions. Why not in negative, guys? Because for negatives, must has an automatic equivalent as a perfect modal. And this perfect modal is the perfect modal can't, which is the same as must, but for negatives. What's that? To say something we are absolutely sure that didn't happen in the past. Okay, so what's happening in here, guys? Is exactly for the same as must, but in negative sentences, okay? I don't know if I tell you the next, who is going to be the other person? Jorge, okay, let me go with George. Jorge. Jorge had a car accident last week. Okay. Considering this is the situation, my friends, I consider that it is impossible he can't have gone running yesterday. what happens in here? Considering that George had a car accident, I think it's 100% impossible that he went running yesterday. Why? Because he had a car accident. I think it's impossible that he went running with the car accident, okay? So practically in here, guys, one more time, in the case of can't, it's when I am 100% sure that something didn't happen, okay? So must and can't are practically the same, guys. Just remember, must is for affirmatives and can't is for negatives. And well, keep in mind that the correct pronunciation in here goes like this, can't have. He can't have gone running yesterday, okay? And well, must is only for affirmative, can't is only negative, but they are practically for the same, okay? Any questions in here for the moment?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Okay, so children, these are the past modals or the perfect modals to create past deductions or speculations, okay? Could, may, might, must and can't, okay? Entonces ya no se vayan a confundir con todo lo que checaron en niveles anteriores, chicos, que can es for abilities, for permission, must for obligation. Ahorita ya olvídense de esto. Cuando ahora lo usamos con presente perfecto, chicos, recuerden que ya nada tiene que ver con obligación, con habilidad, nada. Todos estos son para especulación, posibilidad o certeza. Could, may and might para posibilidad en el pasado, must and can't, certeza en el pasado, ¿ok? Pero al final de cuentas todo es especulación. Yes or no, my friends?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, we finished. Easy or difficult?
Difficult.
Difficult.
Good.
Difficult? Welcome to intermediates too, my friends. So as you are advancing in levels, the topics are going to be more and more complicated, okay? But now don't worry. I think that maybe this is the most complicated topic in all this level, okay? The rest of the topics are easier than the perfect modals. Pero los quise agarrar frescos todavía porque si se los doy hasta el final de curso, se me mueren, chicos. Esto fue ya esto va a ser lo más complejo que chequemos, ¿ok? Pero sí tenemos muchas otras cosas que checar. Okay, everyone, can I close the whiteboard?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Ahora, chicos, para lo que vamos a checar mañana es prácticamente algo que ya chequé yo con ustedes en básico 5, que es los tiempos futuros, ¿ok, chicos? Necesito que le den una revisada a lo que habíamos checado en básico 5, los future tenses, porque mañana quiero que me apoyen y me digan en qué situaciones usamos will, going to y el presente continuo, ¿ok? Para aquellos quienes me quieran apoyar, cómo se usan, en qué se diferencian o en qué se parecen, para ir empezando la clase de mañana, ¿vale, niños?
Ok, teacher.
Ok,
Teacher.
chicos. ¿Alguna pregunta? All clear?
No, teacher.
Okay. So, my friends, in the end, remember the volunteers who want to help me with tomorrow's lesson, you are very welcome. For today, guys, remember the routine. You will have your activities on Classroom. Obviously, you will start practicing with the perfect modals, these 5 modals that we checked. And we are also, let me think, no, I think that it's okay. Perfect modals, you're listening and reading for today, okay? 3 activities for this Wednesday. Everything clear?
Okay, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay,
Okay,
Yes,
teacher.
teacher.
Okay, children, so have an excellent evening. See you tomorrow at 6 o'clock, okay?
See you, teacher. Thanks.
Teacher.
See you,
Bye-bye.
teacher.
Take care, my friends.
Thank you, teacher.